Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Ruslan G and I'm gonna be your host every single day if you subscribe to the channel, if you like all things to do with health, wealth, and happiness. And in today's episode, we're gonna be talking about emergency funds. I'm gonna do a whole series on emergency funds, so if you'd like to see more on why you should have an emergency fund, where you should put your money if you have an emergency fund, how much you should have, and I'm even gonna share with you how to start an emergency fund even if you live paycheck to paycheck. So if you have $0 in the bank account, I'm gonna teach you exactly how you can start one even when you have $0. And if you like content like that, go smash that subscribe button. I promise you it's worth it. Like I said, you're gonna learn so much from this channel because I post every single day. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode on why you should have an emergency fund. And if you guys stay till the end of the video, I'm gonna share with you guys my personal experience on why I'm so happy that I had an emergency fund during a pivotal point in my life. So without further ado, let's dive into this episode. All right, welcome back. Long time no see. So the very first reason why I think it's important for you guys to have an emergency fund and for everyone to have an emergency fund is for unexpected events such as pregnancies or even loss of a loved one or a family member. Because unfortunately, these things do happen and it really sucks because life tends to hit us at 1,000 miles per hour. And these are the type of events that tend to do that to us where we don't see it coming and they're very unexpected. So having an emergency fund will help you prepare for these types of events. So that way, when these things happen, you're not reaching into your 401ks, your IRAs, really your life savings. And having that emergency savings account, I think, is really gonna save your butt when these types of events do come up, which they always do. Again, they're unexpected, but they do happen from time to time, and it's better to be prepared than not. So the second thing that can happen is losing your phone or wallet. And I don't know how many times I used to lose my phone.
How can I do this? How can I be so stupid?
But luckily I don't do that anymore, and I think I've only lost my wallet once since I was 18 and I found it, so I'm so glad that doesn't happen to me as much as it used to. But it is a common thing and sometimes it can happen. You never know. Someone might come by and pickpocket you, and that's the worst feeling ever. So having a little bit in emergency savings really will help out with that. And if you buy these items with the Chase card, they actually protect you for up to, I believe it is $500. So it's not like it's gonna pay for the iPhone 12 or 13 or 14, whatever comes out next. But if you do end up losing your wallet, it might save you a little bit of money having that Chase card. Go down in the description down below and you can actually find the referral link that I have down there, and feel free to use that. You get $200 just to start your account. It's really nice to have, and like I said, it has purchase protection. So if you lose something that's valued at around $500, they'll cover you anytime. And luckily I haven't had to use that, but it's always nice that it's there. So the third reason why I think you should have an emergency fund is for home repairs. And if you're a homeowner, you probably know that this is a really big thing because home repairs do come up more often than we'd like. And even if you rent where you live, it's nice to have an emergency savings in case you ever end up wanting to move to your own property. And if that's the case, you will need to probably have a down payment to make that purchase. And if you want to have that, an emergency savings is a great place to store that extra cash where you can take it out as soon as you want to make that down payment and move into your dream home. So another thing that can happen is medical expenses. Now, if you don't have an HSA or your employer doesn't offer that and your insurance isn't the best, this can help you out. I'm telling you, having an emergency savings plan seriously will help you in times when you need some kind of medication or you need to go see a doctor, when you have something unexpected come, such as medical bills. And especially in the United States, it's very expensive to have those things come up. And I've seen hospital stays or emergency visits cost up to $1,000 per night without medical insurance, and even more if it's an emergency center. So please have an emergency savings. And another thing that I really hate, unless you use public transportation, you know that this can happen when you least expect it, and that is car expenses. Some things like your tire gets flat or you need to do an oil change. Unless you drive electric, there could be all sorts of car repairs that need to happen from time to time, and they're usually unexpected. So having that little bit of a buffer in your emergency savings for car repairs is really handy. And before I get into the last but not least reason why you should have an emergency savings, and like I said, if you want to follow along and you haven't hit subscribe yet, go do that now. And while you're down there, smash that like button as well, because I'm going to do a whole series on this subject where I'm going to talk about exactly what your emergency savings should be and how you can start from $0 and still have an emergency savings. So the last but not least reason why you should have an emergency savings plan or an account is in case you lose your job or your income. Now, most of us have just one source of income, and I would highly advise, if you can, create multiple sources of income, even if they're just 50 bucks a week or 50 bucks a month, whatever they are. That way you're not completely dependent on just one source. And so if one of those gets cut out, you at least have some money to get by for a couple weeks, for a couple months, whatever it may be. And I could do a whole separate video on just having multiple sources of income. And actually, in fact, I've done a video about passive income sources, and I'm gonna link it on one of these sides here. Go check that out if you haven't already. But let me tell you a little story of what happened to me during the pandemic. And this is one of the reasons why I actually started YouTube, is because this happened and I had an emergency savings account that I was able to take some money out of in order to sustain my lifestyle and pursue my dream of doing YouTube. So recently, in the month of August, right at the end of August, I actually got laid off from my job. But because on paper, I wasn't a W-2 employee, which in fact, I probably should have been. Actually, in fact, I know I should have been. I was not eligible to receive unemployment benefits. Because of that, I have to dip into my emergency savings account. Luckily, I have a little bit of money in there, so that way months where I don't have any income or even just a little bit of income, I will be okay. And that is really, really important, because anytime something like this happens, you can lose your job, you can lose your main source of income. I know people that are massage therapists, yogis, service-based businesses, restaurant owners, they all had a loss of income. Whether it was just partial or it was complete across the board, a lot of their businesses struggled during this time. And so hopefully this doesn't happen again, but if it were to happen again, or something like this were to happen again, it is extremely important, and I urge you to start an emergency savings account as soon as possible, because if it can happen to me, it can happen to you and pretty much anyone else across the board. But I hope it doesn't, and hopefully you found this useful, because it took me some time to put all this together. So if you did, smash that like button if you forgot to do it before. And without further ado, I'll let you guys go. Feel free to follow me on my personal Instagram. I'm gonna post it here, and if there's anything you'd like to see in a future video, go leave that in the comment section down below. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.